Hello and welcome to Viv's Room. My name is Vivi and I'm glad you're here because we're going to talk about eyeshadow palettes, which is my favorite makeup topic, as I know it is for most of you guys. So today I'm going to be ranking all my eyeshadows palettes. I technically own 14. I'm gonna go over that in a second. Technically own 14 palettes. I have decided to declutter 2 of them, but before I declutter them, I do want to, come over here and rank them at the very end. I definitely don't have enough categories in my makeup collection that I could do this ranking style with, potentially just highlighters and lip products. So if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to do that for you. I do want to say I don't know who created this video, but I did get inspiration from Kelly Gooch. And I've seen a lot of people do this video, like Sarah Rose, Christina Chang, Samantha Marge, Andrea Mazziliano, so many people. I will link a couple of them down below if this is something you'll be interested in. And I'm going to try to dig in and find the creator. But if I cannot find them, I'll definitely make a note of it in the description box. And if you know who did it, please do mention in the comments because I do want to give them credit for it. I'm just honestly not sure who created it. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. So the first palette, the Kinda 14, is this, what's in this Z palette right here. This is what's left of my Morphe 3502 that I depotted and failed. It was the first time for me depotting a whole palette and I felt miserably. A lot of the shadows ended up having to get repressed. I'll show you. They are broken, very much so broken, and they're messy and I don't love them anymore, okay? I will say the quality is outstanding and I kind of wish I hadn't depotted and just kept it as it was, and I probably would have still had that palette. But the issue with the palette is that, I lied to you not, there were 3 shimmer shades that were exactly the same, and me and my sister had swatched them side to side and we couldn't tell a difference by any of them. So I wish the 3502 would have actually been like a 1002 or a 1502. But it is what it is. So I'm actually going to be decluttering, and due to their state, unfortunately, that means that they're going to have to go in the trash. I asked my friends around if any of them wanted them. They all said no. So that was number 14. For number 13, I do have the ColourPop Ooh La La palette. And I will say, I personally love wearing pinks. What I wasn't aware of was that these shades right here, I thought were going to be more muted. And they'll be easy to put on the crease and whatnot, but they're not. They're very vibrant to my surprise. I'm just gonna switch hands like this. They're very vibrant to my surprise, and it was not pretty. It was not that it's not pretty, they're still really pretty. It's just that I don't even touch these shades right here because these two right here are so vibrant alone as they are. They don't need to be deepened up. So this just felt a little bit one-dimensional, and to be honest, a lot of these shades I do already own in all their palettes, and this one right here, the really bright neon pink, I actually own as a single shadow, and I didn't know that when I ordered this palette. So yeah, this one I am going to be decluttering. I think I'm going to try to sell it on Poshmark. I did just put it up a little while ago, but I don't know how Poshmark works, so I might take it down and try something else, but I am going to try to sell it just because I barely touched it. My next palette is number 12, and I will say that, by the way, it's a 24G from Morphe. It's really good quality. These shimmers are so buttery. I'm just honestly very intimidated by the sheer size of it. Not just the palette itself, but the pans. And I mentioned this in my pie project pan because I did decide to put it in there. It's really, really pretty, to be honest. Some of the shades are relatively similar, but I see enough differences where I feel comfortable having all of the shades. I still don't know how I feel about it. That's why I put it in the project pan. One, because I really wanted to get it out the way. If I want to hit pan all of my palettes, I needed to get this one out the way. But I don't know how I feel about it. I might end up decluttering it, but I don't know yet. I really like it. It's really pretty, and when I see it, I love it. I just wish they were smaller. Like if it was like a regular size pants, I probably wouldn't have all this indecision about it. Okay. Number 11 is the ColourPop Yes Please palette. I know it says cute AF, but it is what it is. It's really dirty, I know, but it's been loved. and it's a really warm tone palette, and I really like this palette. The only thing that I don't like is that this shade right here is here. I think it's really pretty, but there's just not so much of a, there's so gradual between these three shades right here that I almost feel like it's unnecessary. Or it might be that this shade's just not that pigmented. It's not that dark as you would think, and so it kind of washes out with this shade. I don't know. But I really, really like this palette. I enjoy it a lot. I didn't know I'd love yellow until I got this palette, and I realized I love yellow. And I wear a lot of yellow on my eyes, so I love it. And I really like it. I'm gonna keep it. Love it. Number 10. So this is the Sleigh Bell palette. It's a mini palette. There's only 6 shades in here. It's from Larly Los Angeles. Larly Los Angeles does all my favorite eyeshadow formula along with ColourPop, and I really like this palette, to be honest. These 2 shades right here are very unique to my collection. Even this shade right here, it's relatively unique. It's one of those shades that can easily be built up, so be careful with it because it can get out of hand quickly, but when it's sheared out, you can pair it with almost anything. A lot of people didn't want this shadow in here. I actually like that this shadow is here. I think it makes it easy to like tone down this shade right here, which sometimes you need to do that, and it makes it easier to pair with this like purpley blue, and then with this pink right here. What I wish wasn't here is this golden shimmer right here, because I own already a lot of these shades, and I wish this was like a neutral brown, like a mid-tone neutral brown. I know, boring, but hear me out, because if this was a neutral brown, it would be easier to just put it under the crease. So if you didn't feel like having to shear this one out, you could just put this one, just that brown, across your crease, just to give you a little dimension, an eye shape, and then just put either this shade or this shade all over your eye, and that's it. Done. You completed it. That's all you needed. But instead we got the shimmer shade, and I feel like it doesn't really go well with the rest of the palette, but it is what it is. I still really enjoy it, and some of those shades are very unique to my collection. Next is another mini palette from Larly Los Angeles. This time is the Boss Babe. I'm not gonna lie, I bought this palette because of the packaging. It came in a duo set with the Party Animal and the Boss Babe, and it's so cute. Come on, come on. And it's holographic, come on. So cute. And then they come out like little books. They're great. Anyway, the Boss Babe. I really like it, to be honest. My only thing is that I wish this shade wasn't here. It's like a rose gold kind of shade, but I don't feel like it fits the rest of the palette. But it's supposed to be really easy. You just throw it on the crease, put the shadow on the lid, and you're good to go. If you want to deepen it up, you can with this shade right here. That's it. That's all you need. Or you can make it more warm tone with this like orangey red right here, burnt orange. And it's really easy palette to work with. I just wish that pink one wasn't there. I just don't feel like it like puts everything together as much as I wished. Okay, I lost count of where it was. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 8, 9. 9. Right? Yes. We'll find out if I'm wrong later when I get to 1 and it's actually 2. So we'll find out. So that makes this number 8, and this is the Pixie X Heart Defensor palette, which is called Double Tap, which is super cute. It's only 8 shades. They're relatively big size shades, 0.08 ounces per shadow. I love all of the shades. I wear a lot of warm tones. This is really light warm tone, slightly deeper, and this, forgot the word. These shimmers are really easy to work with. Just kind of use your finger, put them all over the lid, and you're done. They're very blendable. They are a little more subtle, so it does take a little more to build them up, but once you build them up, they do look beautiful. My biggest concern is that this chocolate brown right here is not that deep. So you can't really deepen up an eye look. You don't have a lot of dimension, and that's my biggest drawback of this palette, to be honest. It's just this one shade. I wish it was slightly deeper, not too deep, because I don't like to make really smoky eye looks, but just slightly deeper where I could if I wanted to, and I don't feel like I can, and I feel like that was the intention of the palette. But to be honest, I don't like really intense eye looks, so this is fine. I really like it. Next is literally the definition of a warm neutral palette, the Double Entendre Color Pop. A lot of people don't notice, but this is like a straight up, almost shade for shade dupe for the Tarte Toasted palette. It looks almost the exact same, even the placement of the shades, it's crazy. And I really enjoy this palette. There's some neutral shades, they're not too cool tone, they're not too warm tone, and then there's some definitely warm tones right over here, and I really like it. I use every single shade in this palette, except for maybe this one. It's just, it feels a little too close to this one down here. It's just slightly more toned down, and then it has those glitters right there. But I really enjoy this palette. I use it all the time. Next is my Laura Los Santos palette. I don't think I've been mentioning it. This was number 7, so this one's number 6. So this is my Laura Los Angeles Cat's Pajamas. This was her very first palette. I honestly was very shocked to see how deep the pan was. I didn't realize how deep it was until I tried to hit pan on that one. Oh my god, it took me forever. But I really like the shades. It reminds me a little bit of the Modern Renaissance because it has those warm tones and then it has these like cranberry shades. I really like this palette. My only complaint is that I feel like you don't need this quirky and the other. Like, I don't think you need both because they're so similar in shade. But this one's supposed to be like a satin shade, so it's easier to use as a matte technically. And this one's straight up just a shimmer shade, but they're still so close to each other where I don't feel like you need both. But I still love this palette. It's really easy to blend and to pile up on top of each other, and I really love it and enjoy it and highly recommend. Okay, so now we're down. Okay, so I was 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, I was right. I thought I was wrong on my numbering, but no, I was right. Okay, so this is top 5. This is number 5, and this is the Laura Los Angeles Party Animal. I know a lot of people got this in their BoxyCharm either last year or the year before that, and that's right around the corner where she had the whole, I don't know, marketing fiasco. I don't know what to call it. She had that incident. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. I still love her eyeshadow formula and her liquid lipstick formula. Hit me if you want. Her products are good. And anyway, a lot of people got this palette and they were a little disappointed because that incident had just happened, and then also because they were having a hard time working with it. I will say that if you're a beginner, you will not like these shades. They don't blend the way neutrals do. This is a pressed pigment palette. You need to use it like a pressed pigment. It is not it's not a simple eyeshadow formula, it's a pressed pigment. So they do take a little more working with. They're not for beginners. It's one of those shades where you have to pack it on and then blend the edges. You can't just go straight in with a fluffy brush and just try to put it all over your crease. It's not gonna work. That's not how it works. But I really enjoy this eyeshadow palette. I do kind of wish that this was slightly softer, just because I do feel like they're relatively close to each other, but it's fine. This purple is actually really dimensional, because it's almost like a duochrome with the pink. It's really, really cool. And then this bottoms up, I know it has some glitters in it, but it's really like a satin shade. It just has the glitters. Seguin, I think is what they're calling it nowadays, since the tattoo palette came out. But it's honestly just a matte shadow, and it blends really well, and it's really pigmented, and I really like it. I really love this shadow, and sometimes when I'm looking to make some really colorful looks, this is exactly what I'm gonna go for. I don't need anything more than this. I don't need a rainbow palette that's anything like this, because I don't wear these kinds of colors that often. It's just from time to time, when I really feel like it, this is what I'm gonna go for, and this is really all I need. And if I need anything else, I'll just get a single shadow. I don't need a rainbow palette. Alright, number 4. It's my newest palette, and it's my Proceed with Caution, which is the Shayla X Colourpop collab. And I really love this palette. There it is. This yellow is more vibrant than the one, the Yes Please palette, so I really like that. I know these two shades look a little similar, but they're not. This shimmer is just gorgeous. And I actually did what's it called, a like all black smoky look with this black, and looks so pretty. I really liked it. And this shade is surprisingly blendable. Culture. I didn't know I needed culture until I got culture. This was so good. I really enjoy this palette. I think it's a well all-rounded. There's not really much I would do to it. There's so much dimension you can get from this palette, so many different looks and colors you can do. I wouldn't change anything to it. So, yeah. Number 4. Number 3 is my Give It To Me Straight by ColourPop. And I love this palette. This one also gives me like a modern Renaissance vibe. I know it's not exact dupe, but it kind of gives me a vibe. There's some warm tones. There's this cranberry shade, so you can do something more pinky and pretty. You can definitely do some more neutral looks. And I love it. This palette, I think everything you need is here. There's definitely more mattes than shimmers, and I prefer that. I like mattes more than shimmers. So this works perfectly for me. I can do almost any look I can think of with this palette. So another ColourPop. And again, this is number 3. So number 2, the one and only original Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. I love this palette. You know what sucks is that when I went to buy my 3502 palette, they told me at the store about the Jaclyn Hill, and I was like, no, I want the 3502. Boy, was I wrong. I didn't know what I was talking about. They should have tried harder to convince me not to buy it. I blame Ulta. And anyway, that's that. So this is Jaclyn Hill palette. I truly learned to love eyeshadows with this palette. This was not my first eyeshadow I ever bought, but this is the eyeshadow palette that got me into eyeshadows and into colors that I didn't know I wanted. Like these 2 greens right here. This is the reason I love green, and I adore green on me. Like, truly adore it. And I didn't know that until I got this palette and I started playing with these colors. And there's a lot of soft shades that I can easily pop into my crease, and I can easily make them deeper. And there's different shades. This is, I know it doesn't look like it, but this is actually a purple. When I put on my lower lash line, it looks like a purple. So yeah, no, there's a lot of dimension and colors, and I really, really loved it. The only thing is, I wish we didn't have all 3 pink shimmers right here. Do we really need 3 of them? No. And I kind of wish that instead of having this 2, because they're both like frosty shades, I wish one of them was matte. But other than that, I think this palette is pretty darn close to perfect. That's that. Alright. And lastly, for my number 1, it's my Larlie Los Angeles Nudie Patootie palette. I truly love this palette. It is slightly longer than the Cat's Pajamas palette, but still not too big. It's pretty thin. I learned that I love foils, and I didn't know that until I started playing with this palette, but this like glittery foil shades are really good. I actually ended up buying a glitter glue because Larlie, when she made her debut of the palette, she mentioned that it would look better with a glitter glue, so I bought one, and the NYX one. It's really cheap. But yeah, no, you have every crease color you can think of. It's honestly neutral nilly, but that's okay because I'm a neutral girl. So I got everything I needed. And this dark is so pretty on the brow bone and the inner corner. There's so much dimension to it, honestly. You can definitely do more pink tone looks. This topless is so pretty. And then if you put a little bit of Jaybird in the middle of your lid, it gives it even more dimension. Exposed is really nice. Buff. The textures in this palette is unbelievable. I didn't know how to play with textures until I got this palette. And this really gives me a lot of dimension just because it really makes things pop out of your eye. It's crazy. So yeah, I really enjoy this palette. My favorite eyeshadow formula. There is a little bit of kickback, but not too much. And it's so blendable and buildable, and I love it. I don't know that I could live without it. If I happen to like drop it, I will rebuy it. I will rebuy it. But that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to hear what your top 3, top 5 eyeshadow palettes are. If you have the time, I would like to rank all of your eyeshadow palettes. please do so, because I love watching these kinds of videos and I would love to hear your opinion. So yeah, thank you and have a good day.